This is on Imagination with a Healing Garden. And thank you so much for joining me. I don't have anything to talk about right now. I just wanted to step in here and say hi. So I'm going to just chill for a minute, think. And I am going to tell you a story because that is what I do. I have been trying to figure myself out all of my life. And I had a moment a couple days ago where I went, I'm looking for my name. I love finding names. My God, do I love finding names. I have been collecting my names. And that's exactly what we do when we heal. When you heal, you are looking for your name. And when you find your name, it's like finding a piece of you that just clicks right into you. And it's like you're a robot that you've been blasted away from your trauma and your pieces are scattered all over the world. And your robot pieces have honing devices going beep, 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 beep. And they can't come to you. You have to go to them. You have to scavenge the world over and find them. So I imagine, and this is how it is. This is exactly how it is. You decide you want to heal because you just know something's not right, but you don't know what it is you're doing. You just have this feeling, and you know you're miserable, and you're finally at that point where you want to fix it. But you don't lack the words, you don't lack the knowledge, you just have a feeling, and you start to follow it, and you find yourself in therapy at some point, you find yourself in a couple meditation classes, and you start clearing away and sorting through all the muck that is your life. And suddenly, one day, you find your name, and you go, oh, that's who I am. And you think, oh, there you go, that's the answer, I'm done. And then you realize you just found the big toe and you're missing the rest of you. So you start going again. You might get a little bit of a respite for the most part, but you wander and you look around and you just can't figure out where it is you're going. And then after maybe a few more months or a few more years, you found the next piece. It's around the fourth or fifth piece that you start to catch on that there's a pattern. You start to realize something's up. What's going on? It's like I'm piecing myself back together again. And then you wonder, why the fuck didn't your therapist ever say to you, you know what you're going to be doing? You're piecing yourself and putting yourself back together again. Why didn't they say that to you? So you wander the world, metaphorically, or literally, and you piece all of yourself back together again. And every time you find a new piece, it feels so whole and complete that you go, how could I have not missed, how did I miss this? You did miss it. It's called feelings and numbness, and something doesn't quite feel right. What doesn't feel right is you have a leg missing and you don't know it. So you find your legs and you put them back together, and you find your arms and you piece yourself all back together again. You think so anyway, and you're never quite sure what the whole of the sum of your parts actually looks like because you've never had the whole of the sum of your parts. So this is the journey. This is the journey of authenticity that you are on, and you don't know it because no one is saying to you, so you're healing, huh? You know what you're really doing, right? No. No one ever says that to you. You're left on your own. And therapy doesn't work sometimes, so you dump that. You pick up a new therapist. That doesn't work, so maybe you try adding Tai Chi to it. Maybe you try taking some karate lessons, and you just can't figure out what the fuck is wrong with you. And then you start to realize what's wrong with you. You start to realize the names of your traumas. That's not what's wrong with you. Throw that crap out. That's not what's wrong with you. You think, okay, so what's wrong with me is what my abusers did to me. That's not what's wrong with you. No, that's not what's wrong with you. What's wrong with you is the whole you, the wholeness. The sum of all of your parts was never sum, was never whole. It was all ripped apart and thrown all over the place. And now you've got to do a scavenger hunt of the self. A scavenger hunt of the self. And you've got to go out and you've got to find all the pieces and you've got to pick them all up and you've got to put them all back together again. But you don't know what the full puzzle is. You can't see the actual finished product because you don't know, because you've never been the finished product. So you get to this point where or you don't. Some people never get to this point. Some people are happy just picking up pieces and kind of plugging themselves in and I feel better, and they're satisfied. And that's fine. That's them. That's fine. Some people prefer comfort over growth, and that's fine. Other people are like, no, I want every freaking piece that belongs to me. Those are my people. Those are my people. I am the person who wants every fucking piece that belongs to me. I want it all back. And then there's some people who want it all back and they want to hold on to the past and they want to make sure they have all of it, which is okay. It's not possible, but it's okay. Because the people who ripped you apart to begin with ripped you apart because they don't allow all of the parts of you. So you're going to have to choose. You're going to have to choose them or you. Now, again, some people are, you know what? I value these people more than all the parts they ripped out of me. And that's fine. To each his own. I don't think it's healthy, but hey, to each his own. But for me, I will lose anyone and everything I need to lose because I have to have all of my parts. I want to know the whole of my summation. So I'm seeking the whole of my summation. We all are. Well, some of us. And it's this massive pursuit of just constantly exploring and trying new things, trying new foods, traveling, going to new places, and discovering what it is you are all capable of. And then you get to this point where you finally realize, oh, I'm just looking for all the parts of me that make up my whole. That's all I'm doing. And then you realize much later down the road that this is the age of authenticity. And that's all you're doing is reviving your authentic self back to life again. Much like Frankenstein, exactly like Frankenstein. You're Frankensteining yourself. And there's that constant question in the back of your head going, why didn't my therapist tell me this shit? Because that's what I had. And that's what everyone else has. And every time I talk to anybody about their journey, they're like, that's what I'm doing? That's what this is? Yes, that's what you're doing. You're not healing. You're recovering all the missing limbs that were ripped away from you. But they're metaphorical limbs. And they've been scattered all over the world. Metaphorically. So you're on the scavenger hunt, putting yourself back together again. And the more you put yourself back together again, every time you click a piece of yourself back in place, the perspective that you had changes. Oh, yeah. And I'll tell you what it is. You have your perspective. And when you're a kid, this perspective doesn't fit into their perspective. So you have to rip apart your perspective to get it to fit at the expense of you. So you cram your perspective and your mind into the expectations of other people, and you're miserable, and it's lousy. And then you get out of it and you realize that you are somebody else. And now you've got to go hunt down that person and put them back together and figure out who you are. So that is the journey of authenticity. That is healing. That is what you're doing. When you're in the early stages of trauma, when you get out of trauma and you're going, oh my God, what am I? Who am I? What has happened? Why does everything hurt? I just want the pain to stop. You are just consumed by pain because you've been ripped apart and there's nothing of you left. You were fit into this expectation so that others could use you. And that's it. That's it right there. The expectations are in place to allow others to hurt you. Yeah. And when you're whole, no one can hurt you. When you're whole and the summation of you has been returned to you, no one can hurt you. You are unhurtable. Really. And that's when you realize, at this stage of healing, at the 10th perspective, that is the moment when you realize the abuse is not what hurt you. You cutting out pieces of you to accommodate them is what hurt you. You cutting out your own self is what hurt you. That's what hurts. It was never the abuse. It was never the abuse to begin with. Had nothing to do with the abuse. Had you been whole, the abuse would have bounced right off of you. It was the severing of your ethic. It was the diminishing of your love. It was the suppressing of your grief that hurts. And you're running around thinking that, oh, well, these abusers did all this to me. That's not what hurts. You severing you from yourself is what creates pain. Because when you're all done and you've got yourself all back together again, you have this moment of realization when you look at the whole picture and you just go, this is who I am. This is how awesome I am. Oh my God, I'm a god. Look at me, I'm epic. Oh my God, this is what I am, and this is what I was, and that's how much they had to destroy me just so they could abuse me? Yeah. That is how much you cut off of yourself. Accountability, self-accountability, is accepting and acknowledging that you did value someone's acceptance of you more than you valued yourself. Self-accountability and the last stage of healing is the realization that you allowed and prioritized the love and acceptance of someone else more than you prioritized keeping yourself whole. You chopped up yourself into the pieces because you wanted to be loved, because you wanted to be accepted and you wanted a place to belong. That is something we all learn at the last stage of healing. It's the humbleness. It's the realization that it was a form of self-mutilation. And it's part of the healing process. It does two things. Yes, you become fully accountable that you did it to yourself, but also it gives you the power and the authority, and it ensures that it will never happen again. That's the beautiful thing. That's when you realize, I can't be hurt because I won't ever do it again. You're set. And that's when you realize, if you really want to be healed and if you really want to live authentically, you absolutely have to be totally honest about who you are. And only then do you get to step into this space of just pure freedom, because suddenly you don't give a fuck what anyone thinks of you. You are just that free. And you have nothing to prove. And you feel fucking fantastic. Because you're free. And along the journey, you find all of the names that were yours. You find names that you never thought you would find. You find names that surprise you. You're going to find names that just, oh my God, this is what I am? Wow. How could I not know this? How could I not see this? You know, at the end, there will be one name. There will be one name that literally eliminates your need for all of your other names. There will be one ultimate name. You might have to make it up. You might have to invent it. But when you have this one name of yours, it solidifies everything. It is a solid, boom, this is what I am. It's like you're in a D&D bar, a tavern, and you're wearing this mysterious dark cloak. You got a pint of ale, and these people come in, and they sit down across from you, and they say, what's your story? And you say, my story? Boom, I am. And you give one word, and they go, whoa, respect. And nothing else needs to be said because you gave them the one word. That is your name. That's what you're looking for. Today, I found my name. And I went, all right, I know who I am. Finally. And knowing this name literally eliminated the need for any other. Suddenly, boom, that's who I am. I'm good. It explains everything. I am an oral storian. See the comment below. May the kindest of words always find you.